Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I'm your host, the big guy, Ryback. Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone has had a great week. And welcome to another edition of the People's Podcast. Guys, live every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. You could join in and call in here, guys. We are live on X Spaces. If you just join me at Ryback on X, you could watch X video live or the audio here on X Spaces and actually request to call in and be a part of the show. Any questions, anything you have, come on in here, guys. We are live on TikTok at Ryback. Guys, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 views, guys, on the Ryback Show on TikTok alone every week. Thank you, guys, for all the love and support over there. Ryback TV, live super chats are greatly appreciated and will be brought up on the screen, guys, in between taking calls and talking on the show here with everything. This show is available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. Download the Ryback Show, guys. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Guys, even giving the show a little 3-4 minute listen, even though everybody watches the majority when we go live here, it's greatly appreciated and it helps us out on the audio podcast charts. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for men and women. 13 different supplements, guys, all Ryback merch, drinkware, ball caps, workout accessories, and the best supplements on the planet. Save 20%. Discount code YouTube20, YouTube20. Feedmemore.com. #hungry. All righty then. Good to see everybody coming in. We've got our chat over here on X. We've got Shawnee waiting in the queue. We're going to get Shawnee on the show here. And we're going to kick things off, and we'll start bringing some of you guys on here in a little bit. So stay tuned, guys. I'm on my MacBook speaker. I don't know the audio. I have fixed the background noise for X. It was a new setting that got added in on StreamYard on canceling out background noise that I had to go adjust. But it kicked off my my podcast mic. So we're on the MacBook mic, it's a new MacBook, so it should be fine. But I apologize. We should hopefully have that back normal next week. Shawnee.
Big guy, how dare you not know how to do tech?
I'm fairly okay. I'm way better than I used to be at it, but I'm the StreamYard just added a new settings that when you go in there, it says new setting, cancel the background noise. That has to be what it is. That's why it comes in fine sometimes, and then it's usually in the beginning. When you talk, it's like a little low, and then it adjusts to normal. So,
got it. I'm honestly impressed by how much you've learned and picked up yourself, and because I've tried to do it before, and even for me, it's tough, to learn that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not. As far as the video editing and things, I figured out how to do things. I remember when I first started, and I had people doing YouTube, and I remember I was paying this guy to do the YouTube and then I just never had looked into it, hashtags. I had no idea what tagging videos on YouTube were. And I just had never done it. Never knew it was a thing. I was brand new to all of it. And I realized I was paying this guy a good amount of money, and he wasn't even tagging videos appropriately. He was putting 1 or 2 tags, sometimes none. And I'm like, brother, you're supposed to be the YouTube pro. You need 15, 20, 25 tags on these videos, man.
Yep, but tags are so important. Yeah. But how you doing, big guy? How's your Saturday going? How was your week?
Good week, man. Everything's good. Looking forward. I've got my final. I got my CT heart scan done yesterday that they needed to get the final piece. So I go to the doctor Monday. I told everyone I'm 37. I came back. Everything came back great on all my heart tests. And WWE always tested us when I started in my 20s. So I've always been kind of up to date on all that. So we'll see. Everything should hopefully be on the up and up, and get good medical billing. Good. What is it? A good bill of health.
Good bill of health.
Good bill of health for the up. So and really start cranking up the training even further. So
Hopefully, it's not a good medical bill. We don't want to see a
Yeah. We don't. I will have to. I do, brother. Real quick on that. So because of the insurance, our country, man, is so screwed up from a medical standpoint.
Yes, they are.
So my insurance, they had to send me to the hospital, the Sunrise Hospital, which is actually where I was born here in Vegas. And I've had multiple procedures there, stem cell procedures, and along the way, my insurance wouldn't cover it. So they were going to cut because they didn't think I needed a CT scan.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like because the other things came back good, and they were like, the doctor's like, no, we'd like to see this is how you like preventative, and they so I was like, screw it, I'll pay cash. But then I realized it was at the hospital, and the lady, I go, I'll just pay cash, no problem. And I go, wait a second, how much is it? I thought she said $240, $2,400, and I go, oh. I go, 1 second. I message the doctor. I go, can you guys send me to like just one of the other, like, Steinberg or whatever the other Simon Med imaging places in Vegas? I go, there's no way they're going to be as expensive as the hospital. He goes, you're absolutely right. So they made a call, and sure enough, it was $860 at Steinberg. So it was a third of the price.
So, big guy, do you know why that is? So, my mom worked in medical billing her whole life. That's what she did. And the reason why they up the prices when you don't pay cash and it goes through your insurance is because the insurance will fight them on how much they will pay. So they raise the price so that they can get a certain amount of money that they need, whatever. But it's completely effed the healthcare in this country. I know it's better than other countries because, there's no waiting line and it's not free. So like people get better care and things like that. I've heard horror stories about other countries about waiting time and things like that. But when it comes to money, you should never have to be scared to go to the hospital because you're scared of being in debt,
it's just price gouging. It's so excessive. I mean, how many people, like, for something like it's a third of the price. So just 860 at the other imaging place, and they're going to charge 24. So that other imaging place is making money on that. And I've even seen there's other places in Vegas that you can do the procedure for people that need financial assistance that will do it for like $150 to $200. So
wow.
But that you got to qualify for. But that lets you know though that the procedure, they still probably make a little bit of money on that too. Right.
Yes.
So you just see how much they're upcharging. You're just like, oh man, that's pretty excessive for the hospital to do that to people. But I will say, so I got that done yesterday. All that was good. But I'll kick off the show because I just found out I was talking to Wade Barrett yesterday. We reminiscing of the 14-year. It was the 14-year anniversary of the Nexus debut. And
wow, congrats, big guy.
And no, thank you. Yeah, but Wade just sent me a message. We were just BSing at night. And just talking, but then before we were done messaging, he goes, oh, I forgot. He goes, did you hear Dirty Money passed away? And Dirty Money was this guy Germaine Robinson, a pro wrestler that we all came up with. He wrestled for Ohio Valley Wrestling while we were there. And he was an independent wrestler, and he was still wrestling. He was 44 years old, and he unexpectedly passed away. From what I saw online, and I don't know the circumstances, but he had a double quad tear, and he had to have a double quad surgery, which is excessive. That is a very difficult thing to overcome. But this is tying it into the medical thing. And then I saw like he was having supposedly financial difficulty, of course, which most wrestlers, we talk about this. All it takes is one serious injury and like you're screwed. And it doesn't matter, like just anything. If you don't have insurance, you need a major surgery, it could take away everything that you have. And so, but he suffered, he got a blood clot and he passed away, and he was married with 2 kids. So I just want to say rest in peace, brother. He was a really, really good guy. He was a really good wrestler. He never got a break, but he never gave up on his dream. Super proud of him. His family should be proud. And it sucks, but
rest in peace. And sorry to the family. And I hope the family finds peace. It's terrible, tough. Man. It's really like, it makes me so sad when I hear people die at a young age, because it's like you leave behind the people you love, and that's the saddest part, like
they're left to try to pick up the pieces and regroup. And I'm sure his daughters couldn't have been that old. I don't know their exact age. It doesn't matter what age they are, you know. But I mean, it's just,
and like how many independent wrestlers have insurance? Like let's keep it real, you know, like so or health or life insurance, not even health insurance. How about life insurance? You know, I guarantee you 1% of them have it. You know what I mean? And that's where it comes down to, like, even the independent wrestlers who bust their ass on the mat, like, maybe there should be some kind of union for them, or some kind of, you know, even actors that are like on screen for like a second have health insurance, right? Like, and like, how come wrestlers don't?
It's one of those things. It's just, it's behind on the times, and it's a rough industry, and you know, it's not regulated by anything. Even the pros, there's nothing, you know. And people, how many guys, this goes back, and this is why I just wanted to tie it into the experiencing this. I've had to spend a lot of money to get my health back, and I was left. And granted, you know, I walked out and I had my issues, and I chose to speak up, but like, there nobody's there for you when you're done. Even people that are on a good relationship with WWE, or you know, but if you look at most of the people, most of them never were. Like a lot of the old timers usually had a falling out at some point, and I've met them, and where all it takes is one big medical procedure, and you're wiped out, man. And then, let alone, that's not people on the indies, and these guys, they're just making enough just to get by, to try to live their dream, and they don't really have time to necessarily work a full-time other job. And with things, and some do, and some but like a lot don't, and it's especially depending on their age. But it's he was in a tough position because he was getting older, you know, and he never got his break. And but he always looked great, and he was in great shape, and he worked hard. He was a muscular guy, but he wasn't the biggest guy. And I don't know if that was ever the knock on him, that he wasn't big enough for a big guy. I don't know, but he was great, man. And I feel so bad with all of it, and just, you see it, these medical bills and things. It's a scary thing, man. But like, just
what was his name again, big guy?
Germaine Robinson. He went by Dirty Money. I posted a link of a match from about a year ago. I found on YouTube that I put on my X, if people want to go check that out, just to see. Yeah,
guys, if you could go check it out and put a comment for the family under there, it would be much appreciated. Yeah. I'm sure they're going to watch it, you know, like I'm sure they're going to watch his old matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cause I know I would, right? Like if my dad passed and he was a wrestler, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
that's
it.
But he wrestled this guy, I knew, Scott Cardinal. He was his tag partner. So I'm sure Scott's probably devastated. And anybody that knew him, though, he was a great guy. Like the wrestling, and none of that really matters. He was a great guy. Like he always put in smiles on people's faces, always laughing. So he was liked and respected by all his peers. So rest in peace, brother. You were a good one.
Rest in peace, man.
I wanted to get that out of the way on the front of the show, not the back end.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. And but yeah, I got it was a slow news week, big guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It took some digging to get some news this week.
I can tell you the news before you jump in. I unblocked everybody on X, so that's big news.
Yes, thank you. That's the number one thing we gotta talk about. Guys, let's say this. Ryback, I'm very proud of you, by the way. I'm very proud of you. And you've come such a long way since I met you. And like the Ryback I knew at first would have never unblocked these people.
Bro, so that's not true. I've done this once before.
Well, maybe
I did it in 2019, I believe. I unblocked like 18,000 people. And then
oh my God, that means you had like 50,000 people.
But I'm sure a lot of them were the same ones. And then, but it didn't fix my account. I only do it. And I'm straight up honest. I don't give a shit about any of these bad people. I only care about good people.
I know.
So I'm using you bad people that hate me, that just post your little troll. Like everyone that thinks I'm like soft skinned. One, I wouldn't unblock you if I was. I can handle anything at all times. I love just getting the last laugh on all of you. But now I'm going to get the last laugh while my account is suppressed. I'm going to use you to let you engage with my content, so I get seen by a few more good people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I've noticed it has gone up a tick. I've noticed
not a lot, but it's a little.
Not a lot, but it got the video of the guy with the lady on this diving board. I laughed so loud, bro.
The weight of the world on his shoulders.
Bro, that's what would look like if you gave me a piggyback ride.
Just me and Shawnee at the summer barbecue after a few too many White Claws, just deciding to go, big guy, let me get on your shoulders.
Do you know, bro, I never, ever have gotten picked up. Never. So I don't even know what it feels like for someone to physically pick me up and lift me in the air, because like not many people can. You know,
Sean, we're gonna have to. That's gonna be one of the goals before this is all over. We've got to have a big get together at some point, and Shawnee's gonna get picked up in an electric chair. We're gonna try to replicate that diving board scene, but actually pull it off.
I don't want to hurt your shoulder again, big guy.
Ryback fully has to retire after incident with Shawnee at the summer barbecue in New York.
Bro, I can see the headline right now.
Ryback 3-disc blown out, shoulder completely done. Retires on the spot.
I become a national hero.
Yeah. People celebrate you. It completely. You start your own show right after that, and all the trolls just listen every week.
Bro, people don't know how much that like you troll the trolls, and that's why I find it so funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they think like, oh yeah, like Ryback's getting abused. Like, no, he's not.
No,
like,
not at all. Like,
he laughs at this shit, guys. Like, you have no idea. Like, it's funny. Like,
that's yeah, it is. They don't. It's like the retirement thing when people, I was like, I could tell them all day long. I even though there's video, I have the video of the day I released it talking about my whole marketing plan from what I was doing with adding retire to the polls. And like, they can't accept it. They're like, no, but I was like, I actually won some of those polls, by the way, where like there was a time where one of the polls, a bunch of people from India came and finally voted. They found out, and I've got a big follow, and I won the poll decisively to return. I'm like, you guys, but I was like, I go, none of them are real though, guys. It's all, I literally am making the conscious decision to put retire in there for the engagement on that alone, because I know you're going to vote retire.
I remember I asked the fan in India how big you were over there, and he was like, everybody knows Ryback in India.
Bro, I could just go, if I just showed up there and didn't bring, if I just sold everything and just went there, they would take me in, I think, in a heartbeat, and just
100%, bro, 100%. I believe it. But yeah, man, that is so funny. But yeah, the unblocking thing, big guy. So you hired somebody. They unblocked everybody. Obviously, you were reposting some of the comments.
yeah, just to show it. But you can see some of the hate is really, it's just ridiculous. I go,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But Shawnee, I was blown away. Before I even announced it, I started getting all the hate comments started coming in as people were getting unblocked. I could see, it's like they had like every day they were just checking, waiting to see if I unblocked them. Like, I'm like, wait, some of you guys have been blocked for years. Like, what are you guys doing? I didn't make an announcement yet. How are you guys figuring out that you're unblocked?
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
I'm obsessed.
I was thinking the same thing, because like, you don't realize, like, if you guys don't know how it works, like, it doesn't notify you that you're unblocked by somebody. No. So you have to go in and actually look at that person's profile to see that you can view it again.
Yeah. So I was like, this is crazy with that. And then like, but my new thing is, here's my new thing is these people that can't control themselves, the algorithm, TikTok now, X, I'm sorry, the rules are even stricter under Elon as far as like harassment and bullying. So yes. I'm able to report some of them. So if I happen to see one, I just do the old report button, and I've gotten about 15 of them so far. So I'm like, keep it up, guys. I'll try to hopefully get your account deleted. From nobody following you to begin with, but it's just like,
yeah, they're talking about it like, they're like, please block me again. It's like a badge of honor.
Yeah. But I say people complain no matter what. They complain about getting blocked, and now they complain about getting unblocked. I'm exactly. Like, that right there just shows you the mindset of some people, and that there's, no matter what you do, they're just going to complain because that's what complainers do. So
So you put a voice message, which I never saw anybody do, by the way. I don't even know how you did it, but on X Spaces, you put like a motivational message.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, this is and I don't go on X much. I only come on to look at your stuff and the show and things like that. So I don't come on here much, but I saw that and it was a great message. The message was like, you could never, ever make everybody happy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge lesson to learn in life. And I'm somebody who I'm a people pleaser when it comes to I'm not even a people pleaser. I'm somebody who, and I'm very self-aware of myself, I like to be liked. I don't like to be disliked. And when somebody dislikes me, it bothers me because I don't do anything wrong to anybody.
Yeah.
And I treat everybody with respect.
Oh, you would hate fame, Sean. You would hate fame.
I know. And that's why I say I think fame is like my biggest fear. Because I know that obviously I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older because I've worked on myself, and but it's a huge message to people, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way.
No, I agree, I understand.
It's just you can't make everybody like you, and that's just the truth. Like you can't make everybody happy. Like things that you do that you think are right, are based off your morals, your principles.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the same morals and principles as us.
And what's right in how you live your life is wrong in somebody else's. And those people but there are people that are intelligent and smart and have a healthy mindset that just go, okay, they're different, and they don't judge on that, or they don't attack, and then there's others that are just, they only understand from their level of perception, or lack of understanding is a better term probably. And then they go and distract and attack everyone and everything all day long. So you just got to look at the profiles on most people, and you can kind of, bro, you just go look at their page of the trolls of like no followers or 5, and they're attacking everything all day long. You're like, okay, this guy is not doing anything with his life. It's like, and it just takes away all the energy of the message, and you just like, but it's just, you just got, I just assume that's what it is at all times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you would not, fame, you just got to get used to, no matter what you do. That's why I told you that was the message. No matter what you do, you're going to be liked or hated by a portion, but be yourself, be you, be proud, just be happy, live life, because no matter what, just no matter what we decide to go do, it's like people with me. When I'm wrestling, there's people that love you for it, and I'm doing what I want to do. There's people that think you're the worst in the world and you suck and you should go away forever. Then, when I'm not doing it, there's people that's now tell me now I'm a loser for not doing it, no matter what the reasoning is and the injuries. They don't care with it. Or, go on TikTok. Oh my God, you're on TikTok. You're a loser. Like with that, like oh my God, main events to mukbangs. You're a loser. You eat food. You record videos and eating food and making money
like millions of other people do.
Like every other human that's ever existed. I just found a way to monetize it around my Feed Me More Nutrition and my business and my Feed Me More LLC. Yeah, sure. I'm a loser. From main event to mukbangs, back to main events. That's what's going to happen when that happens. What is going to be the main event mukbanger? Maybe I'll change my channel to that name when I'm back, when I'm main eventing, doing mukbangs with my friends, making everybody get involved in being a big old loser. People lose their minds. Imagine me and Braun Breaker just doing a nice little feeding time video. People, oh my God, Braun, what a loser, eating with Ryback, eating food.
Big guy, when you come back, when you come back, whatever the two, your new music video when the Feed Me More hits, I'm gonna wear your singlet on one of them. And
it's gonna throw people off. My big return is going to be my music, but it's going to be Shawnee in a singlet on the Titantron, and it's going to start small, and it's going to people are going to see you as you get bigger, and it's you in the singlet, and then it explodes, and then it goes into Ryback, into the bear trap, and me. But it's to throw people off, to make people think that we're going to bring back another version of Ryback, and they're like, wait, what's this? Old curveball. Or it's just a big bag of ruffles that explode on the screen.
Yeah, it's me coming out of the ruffles bag.
Oh man.
But I do have some news, big guy.
Okay, what's going on?
Kate the Great actually sent this to me, and she said that it reminded her of your situation. So Randy Orton, I just want to give Kate credit because I didn't find it myself. Kate found this article from Randy Orton, and I'm going to read it for you, okay?
Okay.
So Randy Orton says when he was 35, dealing with back issues, he pleaded with Vince McMahon to reduce the number of shows he appeared in so that he could recover. But Vince said he needed Randy on those shows. Yeah. Randy Orton said, I came to Vince when I was 35 and my back really started going, and I pleaded with him like, man, I got to, not to do as many shows, maybe do half the tour and be able to recover. And he just looked at me and was like, oh, I need you on those shows, Randy. Yeah. To hear him say that and go, okay, well, I guess there is no other thing I could do other than just wear myself down to the nub until I can't walk anymore for this man. Yeah. And all the opportunities he gave me, it is nice having him out of there. Yeah. And it's nice having his son-in-law Triple H running the game. Nick Khan's great.
Yep. That is so people, he uses and abuses and whores human talents out for money and profit. And Randy's a straight up guy. We follow each other still. He was one of the people that messaged me when I walked out. A lot did, but he was one of the bigger names that did, in very kind words on that. And I've always had nothing but great respect for him. I think he's one of the all-time greats. But he's one of the all-time greats behind the scenes, in the sense that his status in the ring does not determine how he treats people backstage. He's very like, whatever the stories were, however he maybe was when he was younger, I don't know. That was never my experience with him. He was always like straight up and like nice, man. And maybe that when he had calmed down, but I never think he was as bad as whatever they tried to make him whatever seem. He was always cool. Like he was always, yeah. And like maybe he was a little more wild, like a lot of people are when they're younger. But man, I just remember too, when like things were weird with my booking, and he was one of the few people that came up like in a high position, and he just goes, "What the F are they doing to you?" And I go, "Randy," and I go, "There's more going on than meets the eye," because I knew all the legal stuff going on. And he just goes, "That ain't right." Like I saw he struggled with his booking for a period. When like a lot of people, all the top guys do. Like it's crazy. And when there's stories, and like it's just, I think now people are having more courage to speak out. And now that he's fully gone, because if he would have done that before with Vince in charge, he would have been done.
Oh, he would have never, bro. He would have never said this.
Vince would have got no. He's smart enough not to. But if he ever would, he would have got. They would have run that down as quickly. They don't care. Like, but that right there, it shows you this is how he treats human beings. And I always had an issue with how he treated human beings, and he's not a good guy, man. And I've heard too, there was somebody else that recently came out and did an interview that worked from WWE for like many years from the 80s. It was, I don't know if it was Charlie, started with a C, the last name, or Caruso.
Oh yeah, that's my next news that I'm going into. So his name is Tom Carlucci.
Okay, Tom Carlucci. Okay, I don't know where I had Charlie from, but at least it was a C.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah.
Carlucci. Okay, Tom Carlucci. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tom Carlucci, longtime former WWE employee Tom Carlucci. 1987, and he said Vince is not allowed to enter WWE headquarters nor the gym inside that was created for Vince anymore. The gym was created for Vince. He designed the gym with his trainer Mike. He can't even go in that gym anymore. He can't even step foot in there anywhere. Every meeting that goes on there, you'll never see Vince here again from the TKO people. It's crazy when you think about it that he's the legacy.
Yeah, and that shows you, and that I'm going to say, for that to be said, and that just shows, and the fact that TKO is saying that shows how bad the things that he has done that they're aware of. That means, because these people are aware, they know him. They're aware of things that we're not all aware of probably yet. Of things.
Exactly.
And for that, just think about it. If this was just for the trafficking deal, right? With the Janelle Grant. Like with that, and there was a possibility that, like with what Vince and them, and that it all got settled whatever happens with that, though, they have enough details to say that openly, that he will never step foot in the building. And then I know
Yep.
Tom Carlucci also mentioned that Vince is owned, and he says he's not 100%. So I think we should clarify that, but
Put that in there. Yep.
that Vince has no relationship with his family anymore with that.
Wow.
And I don't know how true or not true that
That's
is.
alleged. Yeah, that's alleged. Yes.
Allegedly. But Shane had went a period and had the falling out prior. Stephanie's had multiple things, and Linda obviously, like, it's not shocking. But that would be, to me, that would be the karma of the way that he lived his life. And again, you're going to have the hardcore WWE faithful that just don't care about any of this, and they're like, well, he provided us all of what we love. So those people are going to die on that hill no matter what. But this guy was a horrible human being, and used people. And if you go back from the beginning, and you can just see from Bob Backlund's book, when he talks about the differences between Vince Jr. and Sr. and how he started treating everybody like a circus act and putting everybody out on the road. And like, if you for that, and this is when I hear what Randy said, this gives me flashbacks to me going to Hunter, into them, and telling them my injuries with this, and like trying, and like them just pumping me full of more Toradol and cortisone. And this is what pisses me off a little bit, in not to make this all about me, but this ties into a lot of my frustrations, is I gave these people everything and love wrestling more than anything. And I feel they let me down on this, on it. And I chose to leave to get my health back because they weren't going to do it for me. Randy's sharing his experience of going to Vince, and he's not making this up. He almost just had to retire, and it's shocking that he didn't with this, to come back with it, and Vince does not care. He wants you to just completely wear yourself out, and they're not going to be there at the end when it's over, and so he can continue to make billions of dollars, rather than go, Jesus, you've given me already 15 years or however long, and maybe we do need to make some accommodations so you could still do this, and we can still make money off of you, but we can allow you to live a healthier life maybe for the rest of your life. But just look at the history of all of the wrestlers that have passed away young, that have all worked for Vince. But I believe he's going to get his karma, and I believe the ultimate karma is his legacy is not going to be kind, and his last days are going to be of suffering over something that should have been celebrated. So
I'm just saying, like, guys, the doubters out there that doubt that Ryback has been telling the truth since the beginning, just go back. Just go back and listen. Like, it's on his YouTube page. Like, go back and listen to the stories. Like go back and see that the stories have never changed, and that these wrestlers are coming out now that you guys love and look up to, that say that this shit is happening. And you still don't let it process through your head that he's a garbage human being. Yes, did he give us entertainment for years? Yes. Are we grateful for that? Yes. But you can separate the person from the achievement that he did and the entertainment that he gave us. He's a shit human being, and that's it. It's point flat.
But here's the other thing too, and I've seen it from that people are there's a portion of people that are obsessed with trying to prove me as a liar, where they look at every little thing and they try to find it, like one little inaccuracy or something that they interpret as inaccurate, and then go, Ryback lies on everything. And that goes on. I deal with this all the time, and I'm going to point out a thing. So I did from a few weeks back, we talked about, or a month back, it was a video, we were on the show here, we were talking, and I talk about my multi-million-dollar contract I walked out on that was worth 1.65 million downside, right? So, and I posted that on TikTok and the others, and I saw there were actually people that were attacking me that goes, he doesn't know the difference between, he's lying, in that he says a $1.65 million contract is a multi-million-dollar deal. It is. Now, let me explain this to you guys. That's just the downside. And when I'm talking from how I understand and what I know and what I make on my other contracts. So a 3-year deal for $1.65 million is a multi-million-dollar deal. Unless I got hurt on day one, could never wrestle. Even then, that's not true. With it still would probably turn into a multi-million-dollar deal on pay-per-views, royalties, and merchandise. Okay, that's where a lot of the money comes in. on that. So I'm making 1.65 downside guaranteed weekly pay on that.
Yep.
I'm now getting, I'm on every pay-per-view, by the way, pretty much on everything my whole time up until that point. So I'd see no reason why that would change. And especially with the contract and the championship and everything being agreed upon, I was going to be on even more. So with that, so you're going to figure in pay-per-views, royalties, merchandise, video games, all that over the course of the next 3 years, that easily is probably $4 to $8 million minimum on that.
Yep.
So that when I speak on something on that, I'm speaking from my understanding of that. And so it's not that I'm lying to you. That's a multi-million-dollar contract. That's just a 1.65 downside base minimum on that, guaranteed on that, as far as for the 3 years, if I'm there the whole 3 years. They made as many action figures as me, which, by the way, I have some of the highest selling action figures being out of the game. With that fact, you can't argue with that. Like with that, so my stuff was in demand while I was there with that. So it very easily would have been that 4 to 8 million, possibly more, with all of that, not counting other things. So I will always be able to defend myself for any of you that want to try to find little things. And I'm not perfect. We do a lot of shows, and I talk. There might be something I say where it comes out, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe that was slightly off or whatever. But I'm pretty damn accurate. Nobody's ever 100%, but that is a thing that I'm seeing happening because they're trying now. They see that I'm right and that I've been telling the truth. So now they're just looking for one lie to try to discredit. In their heads, that would discredit everything with it. Yep. And it's just, but that's the world we live in of miserable people.
That's just the people that they are, big guy. You know what I mean? Like obviously when you tell a story that's from, let's say 10 or 12 years ago, right? Or 8 years ago, your memory doesn't remember every step of the way as you keep going, living life, because your brain, I don't care what anybody says, your brain, when you go through bad moments like that, your brain will protect you and try to push out some of the negatives that you went through to try to, especially when we think the way that we think, because I feel like our thinking pattern is very similar in some ways, that you block out the negativity so that it doesn't stop you from being a good person or being positive, right? Because those things can get you down if you let it.
The hate can consume you if you let it. And that's why I never let it. And I try not to judge. I talk about there's so many great fans, and that's why I love doing TikTok. I love when I do a random battle, and I bring on somebody that just sees me and their eyes light up, and it's just a great experience. Them, and for me as well on that. But this is what I meet in real life, and I want people to see that and go, guys, this is how most fans actually are. What we see online is not the norm on it. It's online disinhibition with these people with how they're acting online. So. It's important.
So I heard this quote that goes to that, big guy, because I have a big problem with people being anonymous and being tough guys behind a computer. But when you see them in person, they love you, right? So it's no face, no case.
I love it. No face, no case.
No face, no case. I love that.
I'll tell you where there will be a face and a case with the old stalker situation. We'll have an update here. We're not giving them any attention outside of that, but when everything gets wrapped up, hopefully by the end of next month, everything should be the sentencing and everything of what we get. And
amazing.
I just want to say, brother, you got a real curveball coming your way. So we'll see when all this happens. And then once that's all done, I will give the update on all of that for all of you. Because I know a lot of you have been asking, but we don't give him any attention outside that. And I'm looking forward to all of this. It's I got some really, really good legal advice with all this of the route that we're taking. And I look forward. I'll get to see him face to face. For the first,
that's
brother,
awesome.
I cannot wait. With that, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to get. I know I get to talk to the judge with all of this, and I'm gonna actually plead with the judge to please give me a moment alone with this individual. I swear to God, I'm gonna activate.
I know you're gonna.
I swear to God, I'm gonna hope that those security guards are Ryback fans, and that they pull me aside and go, brother, your wish is our command, and just give me a little moment. I don't need long. I probably just need about 30 seconds. And you let me go ahead and just take care of business like a man. And I can't wait. So, brother, get ready because it's coming.
It's feeding time.
It's feeding time.
The last news I have, big guy, is Taz was asked on the wrestler Taz. He was asked from a fan on X, how badly would you love one last match? Is it at all a possibility?
Yeah.
And Taz wrote back, I'm 56 years old. I need both shoulders replaced, both knees replaced. So there is no shot at all. Laugh out loud. Also, I have zero desire for one last match for many years. No interest at all. Once I left the ring years ago, I have been completely comfortable and happy about it. Back then, I focused moving on to my next career at the announce desk.
Taz is a great guy. I have nothing but love and respect for him. We follow each other on X. He was always kind to me from the beginning. When I got my start in Tough Enough, when I was a nobody, he was always kind to me. And he's a straight shooter, and he's a straight up guy. And he tells it like it is. And he's a guy that has done it. He's had massive success. He's wrestled everywhere. And I saw too, there was people, because he said he never had to do like a flip or he was saying he did like something never had to do like the
acrobatic stuff.
Yeah. And he's right. And he was massively over with that. And then some people interpreted that as like taking a shot at AEW. And then I'm glad, I like him because he'll speak up. He'll put people in place on X sometimes. And just because people, they're just hating on everything or try to turn, that's the other, like haters will try to get you in trouble. Like that's their thing. They try to get you in trouble with other people. Like that's what they try to create more drama and controversy and take something that didn't happen and make it seem like, and tag somebody to make it seem like they'll lie and say you said something a certain way and you didn't, just to try to get you in trouble. Like with they try to get Taz in trouble with Tony. Like it's pathetic on how they act. But like, you don't think that Tony and all these guys, he deals with all the same of you feed me morons as well. They're all aware of all the little shit stirring you guys are all doing. So, but it is what
I always love Taz. Taz is a Brooklyn guy like me. So I didn't know, like I didn't watch ECW. So when he came from ECW, and I still remember the first his debut and the orange and the black hit, and he comes out with the orange, the towel. Thank you, with the towel and then the black singlet, and he comes out and his music was like chef's kiss to me. And they were like, from Brooklyn, New York. And I was like, what? And my eyes lit up as a kid. He's from Red Hook, which is not far from where I grew up. It was just amazing to have a wrestler from where I was from, because not many were from Brooklyn at the time, you know? So
he believed he was legit, like how his whole presence, that right there. And even though he wasn't the tallest guy, he was jacked and built, and he wrestled a believable style where his size didn't matter, like with that. And like, that's the believability and that it factor. And there's a lot of people, his WWE career should have been much, I mean, you can only play the roles that they give you, like with that, but he was capable of playing a much larger role, and he had in previous organizations. But that was kind of the period with Vince and Hunter and the kind of the small, they thought people that, you know, even Hunter and them doubted Kurt Angle with his, and I'm like, it's just absolutely, if you have a certain, it's not, you can't just push anybody if they're on the smaller stature side, but he was thick and he was muscular. It's like Chris Benoit. They had that in-ring believability where he wasn't an acrobatic high flyer, where that's not as believable with bigger guys a lot of times, depending on it has to be the right individual, and you can't do it like, but with him, like he definitely could play that part. So
that's a great point, big guy. I never really thought about his size as a fan, because he was so intimidating, and I mean, the suplexes he was giving these guys were like unreal, and it was like back to back suplexes, and I love a good suplex. Like I feel like it's very for the eyes. Like, what do you call it? Like it's
just very pleasing.
Pleasing. Thank you. Perfect word. Pleasing to the eyes when you watch somebody get suplexed. It's believable.
You know who else was really, when I was younger? Dean Malenko, the Iceman. Dean Malenko.
Yes,
I loved him, and I didn't even know why. I never once questioned his size.
Yep.
Even though he's on the smaller end of the scale compared to a lot of guys, even though he was muscular and in great, but that's the other thing. He was muscular, even though he was on a little bit on the shorter side. He was so believable and convincing in his attitude and his mannerisms with that you just plug him into a match and you're like, that's Dean Malenko. Like he doesn't back down. He doesn't have any fear in his eyes. That's, I think, the best way to explain certain guys. They don't have fear in their eyes. And if you don't have fear in your eyes, you could be any size in a fight, like with that. And so but that's the key in pro wrestling, that believability, and you can't have fear in your eyes. If you don't have fear in your eyes, you can make a lot of money in this business.
So Dean was 5'8", Taz was 5'9", and Kurt Angle, hold on, height is 6 foot on the dot.
And that might even been Kurt. Yeah, Kurt's, I think, Kurt 5'11" or 6.
Right? Like they go a little higher on the height sometimes.
They could. I'm trying to think. Kurt, though, I don't know. Yeah, Kurt may probably. I don't know if Kurt was. I'd have to look online. I'm trying to think of meeting him. He could be. He could be.
They also shrink as you get older too because of the injuries, you know. So
that, and I met him too again. And I remember meeting him in Tough Enough, but I met him on the Indies after doing some things with him and Cody wrestled that one. So that was after a lot of injuries too. So I'm just trying.
How is Kurt, big guy?
Great,
in real life.
Great.
Yeah, he's great.
So nice.
I love that.
You don't even think he's so nice. You don't even realize like that. What a badass he is. Like, even though
he could actually he could rip us to shit.
Yeah, like he's just like he's such a nice, humble, just a great guy. Great energy. I always was really, when I left and did the Indies, and I remember he did a video saying I was on his list of guys he wanted to wrestle. To me, that was always really, really cool.
Oh, that is such a compliment, man.
That was such a. I really, really appreciated that. So, I knew how hurt I was and everything going on, and at the time, but I always appreciated that from him.
I always find in life, and I don't know if you agree with this, big guy, but I always find that the toughest guys are always the kindest.
They usually are. It's just that they put their foot down when they have to put their foot down.
Yes, 100%. And I've known kids, people think size matters, and I was tested my whole life because I was always the bigger guy, and I never wanted to fight. I hate fighting, but I had to because I was always tested. I do have to say, I knew kids that were 5 foot that were literally karate champions that would knock big guys out. Yeah. I've seen them and then they think, oh, size matters. Size never matters.
I will say, I got to jump in here. There's just a video I just posted on my IG stories today. Eddie Hall, one of the world's strongest men, who's 6'3" and 300 something pounds and all jacked up. He just did a fighting 2 smaller guys, a 2-on-1 handicap match, and absolutely destroyed these 2 individuals. He powerbombed one of the guys. One of the guys was trying to grab him. He picks him up and power bombs him, Shawnee. Before the guy could get up, he eats a right hook and down and completely unconscious. And then,
I gotta watch this.
It's on my IG stories from TikTok. It popped up today. I go, holy hell, Eddie Hall's fighting. It's over in one of these other countries. They're starting to do these train wreck fights, which I think is huge money if you get the right people, but legit one of the world's strongest, toughest, just big guys with this goes and battles 2 regular sized guys. I take my money. That was oh, how did I not know this was a thing?
I take back what I said all the way.
But it does. There's levels to it too, depending on who it is. But
agreed. There's levels. Never judge anybody.
And those also aren't skilled. Probably, I don't know the skill level of those fighters, but I also don't know his skill level. As far as I know, he's done a boxing match with it, so they probably tried to keep it somewhat from a skill level. Now, if you take 2, UFC, lightweights, and that's a much riskier that or 1 even. But if that big guy gets a hold of you, that's where the issues are. So there's never one size fits all on that. It's circumstantial on the people involved.
Exactly. You know what you have to do sometimes, big guy? I've done it once in my life. When you're outnumbered, you just have to act like you know karate. That's it. One time I was about to get jumped by 6 kids, and I was in middle school to high school era, and I put my hand back. I don't know what I was thinking, but like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get the shit beat out of me right now. It's going to be bad. So I went and I did like this move, like where you pull your right arm back and put the left arm out.
You didn't set up for the Karate Kid crane kick, did you?
I couldn't kick my leg that high, but I definitely did a move, and I was like, "You guys don't want this right now," and I still got beat up, but it was funny.
That's great. I actually when I was a kid, I got in quite a bit of fights when I was younger. I actually just like enjoyed fighting, but not like wasn't I always was fighting like I've talked about this on here before. It was always like bad people that would like do something really bad, but I was never afraid. I've never really been afraid of confrontation with it. And I remember getting in multiple fights. There was one fight though, like it got planned out. It was like one of the neighborhood bullies, and he'd done something and he beat up one of my friends. And I was like, we ended up having a meeting, and like I wouldn't remember the first thing we did though, right when we got into fight, is I threw a kick and just right in the ribs and just keeled him over before he was expecting a punch. And I was like, it was from something I saw on TV as a kid. It had to have been one of the karate movies. But I was like, most people don't see a kick come. It was just a right swift kick to the ribs, put him right over. Oh, he was done. That was the end of the fight.
Bro, if you get kicked in the ribs, like people underestimate the ribs and how and how strong your legs are. That like if you hit somebody with your shin in the ribs, you're down for the count, bro. You're down for the count. You know,
painful.
But yeah, I agree. I've never been afraid of confrontation. I've never been afraid. There's a couple times in my life where I was scared because of weapons were involved. But I've never been afraid for a hand-to-hand battle. But when it's like 6 against 1 or like 10 against 1, it does get a little scary.
Yeah,
you know,
no, definitely.
But you just got to go again. Like my thing was always like go after the smallest one and make them pay.
Yeah,
and that always made me feel better.
Absolutely. You know what? Before we take calls, I'll finish it with this actually because Kyrus, I got multiple people message me. He mentioned me on the Greg Gutfield show this past week, and I don't know what he said, but I know he mentioned me on it. But it made me think because there was a time me and him have always got along really well. There was a time in WWE when they were building me up. It was right before the Cena match. I knew Cena was going over. They wanted me to squash Tenzai and Brodus in a 2-on-1 handicap match, who were two of the two biggest guys on the roster at the time with that. And I've always been friends with Brodus, and I've always just had good respect for him and great respect for him prior to anything he's done. I've always just gotten along with him. He's a big, strong guy, though, and Tenzai is a big, strong guy. And
Tenzai is Prince Albert, so those that don't know.
Yeah, formerly Prince Albert, and now at the NXT Performance Center, Matt Bloom. They were not WWE. That would have been the death of them, even though their careers were already at the end. But Brodus, we didn't know. Brodus had a huge upside and should have. They misused him greatly on multiple scenarios. But I knew that I wasn't going over on Cena. And I was already, so they want me, and this is one of those things where you look back, you go, oh, maybe I should have just gone out and done it with it. But I believe in being a man and like what you believe in. And I think Brodus has always appreciated this. I know because he's told me multiple times, but I put a nix to the match. And as far as, and I said my back, I go, I don't want to pick them up on it. It would have buried them though with it. It like they wanted me to go out there and literally kill both of them. And then just to go lose to Cena anyways. And I go, Cena's already made. He doesn't, I go, what? This is going to literally, I already know what you're doing with me. And I had no interest in being a part. And like Tenzai, everything was going, he was older, but even with it still, I go, and those two guys were much bigger than me on that one. And it's one thing, but I go 2-on-1, I did not believe was believable, despite me being a monster and as strong as I am. I just thought it was silly to take out like two guys, and with Brodus had a huge upside. If he would have done that match, it would have been like there's no bouncing back from that from a career standpoint there. If there's going to be an upside or if there's going to be a different, and so I didn't want to do it because I've always gotten along with him, and I was one of the things, and I used my power, and I go, I told him I didn't think it was believable, and I said I don't want to have to pick them up with my back on it. And like they got it, they changed it to whatever it was something else, or they gave me the night off, and I was in the main. I go I'm already made too. I go, people already know what I am. I go, what is this going to achieve? I go, if Cena's going over, And I go, we're going to take out 2 guys along the way. What Cena's already made. What are we like? It's
Yeah.
now.
What's the point?
We're going to bury 3 guys. Bury 3 guys in the process.
Exactly.
Like, just bury me if that's what we're going to do. You know. So it is.
I love that.
But yeah, he's always appreciated that, and that's just. I never really did that much. That was one I spoke up on. I didn't believe that should have been done. I just didn't.
I wonder what he talked about on the show.
I'll have to go look. I didn't see. It might have just been a shout out or something. He's always.
Yeah.
We agree on certain things. We like mindset wise with that life, like returning your shopping cards, re-racking your weights, making your bed,
being a good human being.
Being just at the end of the day, be a decent human being, not be a piece of shit. So we have that in common.
Thanks for sharing that story. I like that. I like when people do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
you know?
It was. It might not. He knew it too. It might not have been politically the right thing for me, but I knew it was where it was going. I knew where it was going anyways. So because I knew the behind the scenes stuff. Let's go ahead and take a call here. See what we got. We got old Phantom guys. We asked just watch the language, please. We are on TikTok. Phantom, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Ryback, Shawnee, how you guys doing?
Hey, Phantom, what's up, brother?
What's up? Oh, before we even get started, Shawnee, I gotta say your laugh is contagious, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem. So Ryback, you know, I'm a fan, you know, of everything that you accomplished and done, and I just wanted to ask you, what do you feel like culminated to this point right now? What do you feel like what you've done to get to the point that you got to you built your own name up and you got yourself to the limit that you are right now? And what do you feel like is the main thing that helped you get to this point that you are at right now?
I walked away from WWE. That was I had the courage to walk away and then to get my health back. If I didn't get my health back, none of this is possible, right? Health is wealth, and if I was really bad, especially at the time my back. So I had the courage to walk away. I bet on myself, and legally I took him to the USPTO trademark court and spent the hundreds of thousands of dollars to win my name back. And I did, I won with that. And now, and like, again, my goal is to be able to tie everything I'm doing together, but I've got to get cleared from my shoulder. That's the final piece. But I've survived all of this up to this point, and the hate and the negativity, and I just go one day at a time. I know what I have to do, and I never let anybody stop me from doing the work I need to do on a daily basis. And so, like, no matter what people spin anything or what hate comes my way any particular day, I just go, what do I need to do today? And then I don't stop. It's like I don't stop my lives. I don't stop my show. I don't stop my business. I don't stop anything. I just keep showing up one day at a time, and I give myself a chance, and I stay in shape, and I just give myself a chance to do the things that I want to do one day at a time.
That's right, Ryback. And that's what I love to hear, man. And I think that's where people get things misconstrued with you, is that they're like, you walked away, man. You took everything from us, or, we can't see you. But little do they know is that, it's for your own mental health. It's for, it's for the greater good, basically.
I would have retired. I would have been forced to retire within probably 6 months with my back. Had I not caught my back, the disc, and I've talked about all this openly. I think I'm one of the most transparent guys in the business of talking about things, and specifically my injuries. A lot of guys will hide that. I have no fear of that because I knew what they stemmed from. It wasn't from me being weak or fragile. It was from a bad surgery with that, and from neglect and negligence with cortisone on them and with things. And I'll take all accountability of letting them do it at the end of the day and believing the lies with that, because I love the business with it. But like, it wasn't, I didn't walk out and turn my back on the wrestling business. I literally had to do it to save my life and my health. I would have been in a wheelchair after a 5-disc fusion and a shoulder replacement. I would have been able to train. I would not have look anything like I look right now. I would have shrunk down, and I had to live. I would have been a whole different person with that. And so, in which I would have adapted and made the best of it and been positive and found a way to adapt and evolve and grow and find something. But I was like, I got myself back together where I think, man, this is pretty fucking cool. I might be able to do something really, really amazing here at the end of the day by just believing in myself. But yeah, a lot of people like to, they'll say, or I got fired. If that's what they do. They just take things and they put out misinformation, or they think like others say, I can't get hired. How can I get hired when I'm not even wrestling? It's not like I'm out there wrestling, trying to get shows. People message all the time. And again, too, there's another, and I'll say this real quick because I got a lot of messages this week. I think somebody else put out another false thing saying AEW, I was going to AEW, and that's false. There's no talks. I'm not cleared to wrestle. I've been very open about that. So, and it doesn't matter. They could offer me $30 million. I'm not wrestling right now. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing any, like, I don't know why people will just make things for clicks and whatnot, but there is
Ryback, I also think because you kept such a good shape considering the time you've been off of TV and just the simple fact that and I think they get that and they see they're saying, oh man, well he's still in good shape, why can't he go? But I don't think they realize that because you keep your physical shape doesn't mean that you still don't have those alternative problems.
You need for anybody that knows, if you need a right shoulder replacement, which is why Taz just said he needs shoulder replacements, right? He can't rest. I don't think people understand what that entails and how serious that alone is. Now add that and needing a 5-disc fusion. Now the back isn't an issue anymore because of all the stem cells, but the shoulder, even though it's way better and I'm functional, could I come back and realistically go back and do one match and train? Yes, I'm going to have some issues still with it, but I probably could get and do everything and come back and be really good for one with it, but that's not my goal. I'm trying to come back where I can do more things consistently, right?
The longevity.
Right? I don't want to just come back and do one, but that was kind of like if I had to, and I could do one, and that was again that kind of tied in like last year because there's some haters that go, "Oh, you were trying for Goldberg last year with that," and I talk about things, and I do a lot of clickbait things too. With a lot of people get misconstrued with character and out of character, and I love that because I can blur the lines on that. But absolutely, and I'm not going to spoil anything by what I know and things, but like in my head, it was like I can go do that and lose and if I could pull that off and buy myself time of doing something, coming back, and then by the time I need to come back again, right? That was in my head. That's the mindset I'm in because I think if I can do one, but I'm not trying to do just one, but for that because I thought there was a window, and I think that window is closed with him because I think he's getting too old with Goldberg, and I love him, and I wish, but I think that window is really getting just too small, if not all the way completely shut, right? With that, so, but that was my mindset of that, like, oh, if I could somehow get cleared to do one, I would be willing because I can do from the angle that I saw, I can come out on the losing end of that, but actually be okay to come back at a later date because I need more time for my shoulder, but. Just wasn't possible.
Phantom, great question, bro. Yeah. Thank you for calling in. You could call in anytime, man.
I appreciate you guys so much, man, and thank you, Ryback, for taking my call and taking the time to answer, those questions. I appreciate it, definitely.
Always, brother. Greatly appreciate you. Have a great day, man.
You too. Appreciate you.
Good deal, Phantom. I love good people, good questions, man.
Me too.
Crazy, we don't get any of those people I unblocked. I thought some of them were going to be able to want to come tell me off today, but. It's just the good people usually that I see. Have we had Todd Phillips on?
Yes, I believe so. We had, Todd. Was that the woman that I said?
Oh, that was yes. What about George? Have we had George on?
I don't think so.
Let's see what we got here with George. George, we're going to bring you on. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Try to get some new callers on here. X space is at Ryback, guys, to call in, request on the show.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, George?
Hey, George. Man, what's going on, mate? You all right?
Doing great, buddy. How's your day going?
Oh, good. Listen, since last time I spoke to you guys about due to your how natural babyface was, so recently I've been watching WWE Network about when he came back as a babyface again in 2014 after your injury.
Yep.
Oh my God, Ryback. It feels like you have never turned heel. Like, even though I keep rewatching again, it's like he never turned heel. The reaction, because it's like this guy's never turned heel once, but it's just amazing how like the fans, you had strong connection with the fans despite that he was a heel. The moment you came back as a babyface, I'm like, my God, this was just perfect.
Thank you. It was.
I was just so happy.
Yeah.
I remember back in 2014 when I was watching it, I was so happy for you, and then you had this authority situation where you teased to be. Go back here by joining the authority or be a Team Cena. I'm like, nah, don't go to authority. But what I like about it, the building was so great, but when they got to Survivor Series, I'm like, how you guys eliminated Ryback so early? Like, after all that build for weeks and weeks, like, what? I'm like, wait, what?
That was the so one, that was a really cool time. I was really That was in San Antonio, Texas, and I'll be forever grateful for the great reception they gave me. That was a cool day of not knowing. I came back after the heel run, and we were Ryback, and I had the 2 core muscle tears that I had to get repaired, and I was out for, I don't know if I was out for like 2 or 3 months, and came back, and I got there and I didn't know what they were going to do, and I was told, Joey Mercury came up to me and said, "You're back," and I just go, "Yeah, I'm here. What's up?" He goes, "No, Ryback, the babyface Ryback is back," and I go, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "Welcome back." It was almost like whatever punishment or whatever the craziness was. And in my head, I thought, all right, whatever the BS was is over. Now we're going to go make money again and like actually pay this thing off. But it was just the beginning of the games to another level, unfortunately. But we did it. And then if you remember in the people, I was the focal point from a storyline wise of essentially that story was Team Authority versus Team Cena. The story was whatever team that I went on was going to have the advantage. That was the story, in just plain and simple for people. And it was for me coming back and being a heel and coming back and getting cheered, but I hadn't officially made a babyface turn yet. I just came back and they gave me the feed me more, and people made that decision like, no, we want to cheer this guy. So then in that angle and being inserted in that with that, and then joining Team Cena after me and Cena's issues and saying, all right, we're burying the hatchet. I'm back, and we're gonna join forces. And then when I got to that Survivor Series, brother, that was right on. That ranks up there. That's number 2 probably with the Mark Henry loss at WrestleMania of disappointments of not making sense. That was right behind it because, and if you go back and watch that match, you can hear the crowd. Even though they did protect me and had me take multiple finishes, they eliminated me first. And I'll never forget Jamie Noble came up to me and he goes, Ryback, we need you to get out first. And I just knew right then, I go, oh, nothing's fixed. This is bad. Because so from a storyline standpoint, you spend the last 3 or 4 weeks around me on the main event storyline that I'm going to be, the team has an advantage, whatever team I go to, and you're going to eliminate me first. It made no sense. And this is just to let people know, I was already so done with WWE at this point. I just didn't give a shit anymore. Like I didn't even care I hated talking to Vince. I didn't even want to go see him. I wasn't going to go fight to change anything. I said, F it, whatever. I'm like, I was counting the days even back then of like just saving my money to get away from that place forever with like the shit. Cause it just didn't make sense. I'm not saying I had to, it would have made sense from the storyline to have me be the last person, but my good buddy Dolph got that opportunity. So I'm not mad about that, but I should have been from the storyline standpoint. I should have been the one that gave the team the advantage to win up to that point. That would have tied the storyline together and kept me whole, even getting eliminated. If I got eliminated at the end before Dolph, that could have kept me whole, right? But they didn't. And that's where all these disconnects, they don't connect the dots for fans, and they put little chinks in your armor. That night did a lot of damage for me as far as where, like, even though things were much better than they were, it didn't do me any favors, like from a booking standpoint.
No, I'll tell you something right now. So despite the fact that what happened to Survivor, that I said to myself, all right, you know what, maybe he could potentially win the Royal Rumble 2015. The fans love him. He's so over right now. So let's get to the Royal Rumble 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's good? Look, I love Kate. I love Big Show. Like, I know it wasn't their fault what they're doing. I'm pretty sure they're told what to do. I think, what's good? They're like, eliminate all these guys one by one. Whoa. I'm like, how you eliminate Ryback so easy? But what's going on? I'm like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God.
I don't even remember who eliminated me in that.
Sorry?
I don't even remember that.
It was Kane and Big Show, right?
Oh, it might have been. I forgot all about. I remember them eliminating people. I can't even remember. I don't remember that.
It's the one that Roman Reigns where he shouldn't have won it. I predicted either you or Dean Ambrose to win it because I do like Roman Reigns, but I doubt that he was not ready at all. And I'm pretty sure that time that he just turned to be a baby face, but the fans was not buying it at all. So,
and I'll tell you, this is what people don't. And you could talk about this all day long. And there's a difference between being organically over and then the company just shoving people down their throats. you know, and I think that, and I had my merchandise, even not even being in the main spot, always did well, but they started, and just for people that understand my frustrations, and we could talk about this all day long, it's all over with and it's done with all of it. It's never going to be changed. But I think I've always wanted, but the one thing I've always wanted is I've wanted people just to have an understanding of what happened, because there's so many lies and mistruths out there. But they used to hide my merchandise when things, especially towards the end, WWE, Vince, they wouldn't, my merchandise, they wouldn't put it up. And they'd have it in boxes, and I'd go look this was when my contract stuff, and this was going on even before with that, and they to affect my merchandise numbers. They would put my merch and hide it in boxes. They weren't putting it up, and it would be at all the arenas with that. And Vince and them started doing that to play games with that. And I would go walk the arenas right before the show. They're right before fans got in, and I would see, I would go, you guys, where's the Ryback stuff? And workers would go show me. They go, we were told to put it down here, like with that. And I was just like, what the F is going on? But it's like that. Yeah. Like, it's like Roman with the muscle, with the Flex magazine. They wanted me on the cover twice in WWE. Hunter wouldn't let me, and they wanted Roman. Flex magazine didn't want Roman with that. That is them interfering in the natural star making process. That is my opinion. And that is where they F up with that. You can't stop the natural process of what is supposed to happen with that. And it's going to come back. And it's so, but you know, Roman's amazing and deserves every little bit that he's gotten with that. But if people got to remember, he wasn't cheered like I was cheered. None of those guys were for that. And like that, there's video evidence of that for years. So, and I know that from my experience, and I love everybody, but I was like, man, people want to change the narrative of like how people liked me with that. I was like, you'll never change what I experienced with it.
No,
but it's all, but at the end of the day, man, it's over. It's all done. All we could do is take it. And you could say what if all day long. Now my thing is use that for motivation. Never, you can never go back to somebody that stabbed you in the back unless you get things in your favor contract wise with that. Like there's never any trust with any of that again, with the organization, no matter who's in charge with that. But like if things get put in a contract and legally things get situated, then then good business can be done. But it's all done. It's dead. It's over. And it's just, I can use it for motivation for the continuation of my story of my life. And that's it. So.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that honestly, Ryback, you are one of the wrestlers out there who's completely a natural babyface. You and Daniel Bryan, I would say both of you are complete natural babyfaces.
Thank you, brother.
Heel-wise, like honestly, I was not a fan of heel work as well, because I feel like it doesn't. This is no disrespect to you at all. This is what I think. I feel like that the heel character was not connecting at all, because I was just so much happier as you as a baby face. Yeah. Because you came a lot very, very natural. Like it was so natural. I could really get behind it. So,
but it's energy. I feel people can feel that energy, and then I'll tell you, because I lived this. They had what they started to do is when they turned me heel, people weren't booing me. They didn't want to boo me with it. Even with the Cena thing, there was confusion. No matter what, there was mass confusion. They eventually had to start getting me to bully people. That's where people started like really hating me, which still to this day plays a part. Probably some of the online hate was that I did a good job on the bullying stuff. That's when I first started really getting really booed with that and that. But I don't think people wanted to. I think they, and again, I thank you for saying that, because that's how I felt. I felt it. I think I am a much better babyface because I can be truer to my true persona, and I like making people happy with that. And I feel like I have that energy and that people can understand. But whatever, I as a physical actor, I could play both roles with that. But I think when people want to cheer you and you don't let them, that it can be a disappointment in a lot of ways. So
it is sad this happened to you. Like it really is, because I really enjoyed your time on TV. Like despite having Tyson messed it about on the screen, but it was really nice to see you get the reactions. Like even 2016, it was so over. You were still so over as well. Like it was just amazing. Like the fans will just never leave you back then. Like it was just so amazing. Like,
but which is why, and you go look at WWE with the negative hit pieces they put out when I left and stuff. It's really fascinating of trying to get that people. But I believe that all will always work itself out, and that under the right circumstances and situation, and with the comeback, if I can come, like if that music hits, I feel that energy can be duplicated at any point in time again I really do.
100%.
So
100%.
it's
If
just,
you came
and
back-
I
if you
think,
came back today, it would be one of the biggest pops, in my opinion.
but or like again, you never know, and on that, and but like I'm not afraid to try, and I believe in myself. I have that confidence. So like, brother, man, if everyone decided to boo me, I would eat it up. Like if nobody, I believe though that my name has stayed alive. Luckily, despite all of this, that people are passionate one way or another. They either love me or hate me, and energy is energy, and that's a good thing. So, but we'll see, man. If not, I'm grateful for everything, but I haven't given up. I'm going hard every day, every week still, and I believe, and like I've always believed in myself. So I appreciate those of you that still follow along and believe also.
Thanks for calling in, George.
If I could just say one more thing, if I could just say one more thing, like if you was ever going to return, if it's going to be in AEW, one match I always want to see, right? This is one of the predictions I wanted this to happen. You versus Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, like yes, Tom versus Phoebe Moore. Oh boy, that would give me chills. I tell you this right now.
What about if it was at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas and a heel Michael Jackson and Elvis impersonator made their way to the ring and started ripping on the crowd and just started tearing apart that Vegas WrestleMania crowd. And then the announcer goes, the following matchup is a 2-on-1 handicap matchup. And Ryback versus impersonator Elvis and Michael Jackson. Would you be happy with that?
Hilarious, yeah.
No,
it'll be great, man. Like, I mean, we'll see what happens in your state. Like, if you ever come back, great. If not, then thank you for all the
You're welcome, buddy.
done.
Thank you, buddy.
It's been a pleasure watching. Like, I'm glad we can still rewatch things in WWE Network or on YouTube. So, like, it's just a shame that they never give you that push that you truly deserve. Like on many occasions where they could have done that. But
it's all right. It's all part of the bigger story, brother. So we just use it for motivation. Nothing's ever finished, right? So you just gotta go one day at a time.
All right, man. Look, it was nice. Thank you for letting me join in the call and thank you for answering these questions. So nice chatting with you. But yeah, next time I'll see you then, sir.
All right, George.
Have a great day, George.
Thank you, buddy. Good guy.
Big guy, I see some of the regulars wanting to call in. I don't know if you want to get a couple of them, but I think Derek, Jeremiah, I don't know if you want to get them on for a call or something.
Yeah, I'm going to. Hold on. I'm going to take a screenshot of something of one of the haters that they try to say that my YouTube numbers. I've got 563 people on YouTube in here watching. I just wanted to get a quick little photo, and sometimes that goes up to 600, 700, 800 of what we have live in the room. And I'm just going to post it on X because because these are things I like to just prove people wrong that try to call me out on being a liar. Because I just think it's silly. I have no reason to lie on things. So I'll just go ahead and post that. You can see the actual number for everybody. And maybe you can confirm it, Shawnee, so you can make sure we get eyes.
Yeah, let me confirm. Let me ask Johnny.
Get confirmation that I just posted on the thing of 563 people on my YouTube listening to them.
Okay. You mean go to your post? Okay.
On my X. I just posted it on X, my last.
Okay, got it.
Can everybody get confirmation on that for me? Because there's a hater that's trying to call me again. Okay. I'm not making up. It's actually 571 now, so they might think I'm lying now. So, but all right.
You know what I notice sometimes, big guy, which I have to say, sometimes your YouTube numbers will show differently in my YouTube. Guys, how many on YouTube in the comments? How many do you guys see as the viewers right now?
Well, that would explain it then, if that's the other thing too. But that's why I think posting the picture, I'm seeing the actual count of people we have in here. So
look at I'm not on YouTube, big guy, because I can't.
Oh, you know what it is? What they're doing? I'll tell you what it is. I'm clicking on the number right here. This is total viewers live right now but this is through StreamYard.
Oh, so it goes through the website.
They changed what they used to do. They used to show only YouTube numbers on here. Now they show X, Ryback TV, and I'm just clicking on it right now. So yeah, X, we have 483, 94 from YouTube on that, and 1 from Ryback Rules. So it's not me lying. It's me reading the total live viewers from the 3 StreamYard platforms being streamed. So that's what that is.
Brother.
So again, not lying. It's reading the total number that we have that I thought was always the YouTube. It's the total from X, Ryback TV, and Ryback Rules.
Yes, I've noticed this only because I sometimes I will look and I'll look at the numbers myself, and I'll see when you say the numbers, I'm like, that doesn't seem right. But now it makes sense.
So it's not me lying. It's me just reading
It's not you lying, yeah.
No, but
yeah,
again,
yeah.
but the people that they try to they're so desperate to try to, it's just that changed. StreamYard changed how they used to just show the YouTube total viewers on there. So, which
For
Ryback
sure.
TV, that's horrible with that as many followers as we have subscribers on there, but it is what it is. So
a lot of people have been leaving YouTube, big guy. A lot of people, a lot of big streamers.
Are they really?
Oh, 100%. I know you don't follow that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but a lot of big YouTubers, Jeffree Star was the first one, and just so many people have followed suit and came over to TikTok. And they're not getting paid as much. Their views have gone down significantly. and I think overall, I just think the culture has moved over to TikTok, which happens, right? Because first we had MySpace. Remember the top 8?
Yeah.
I used to love the MySpace with you could change your profile music and your picture. You know what used to piss me off, big guy, when I would go onto a girl's page on MySpace in high school, and it would take 10 minutes to load because they had all this crazy stuff on there. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. But then you had MySpace, then you had Facebook, then Instagram. There's always something that's gonna be the new thing, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It has changed. I do. And it's partially why the government with TikTok, with how much of the audience they're capturing.
Yep.
It is a very realistic thing going on. So
yeah,
it is.
For sure.
It is definitely. Let's bring on Mike here as a guest. Mike.
Mike.
Welcome to the Ryback Show, Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Feeling good.
Good deal. How's Mike? Good to have you on. What's on your mind today?
My mind is I'm glad you are doing good.
Thank you, Mike.
Anything else? I do miss you in WWE, but you're the best superstar you have in that group.
Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you very much.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. You know I'm always there for you if you need anything, and hope you're doing fine. You get your nutrition's building up and stuff like that.
It is. I appreciate that, Mike. Life is good. I'm very blessed, and I'm grateful for good people like you, buddy.
Oh, wait.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for listening to the show. We really appreciate you, brother.
No problem, because I'm on one of the records on TikTok with Ryback. And
good deal. Thank you very much. I love doing those, man. I have a lot of fun on those. Got a 20-game winning streak going.
I know. I got that winning streak.
Oh, you got a 20-game right now?
Bro, we got a 20-game winning streak going on TikTok battles. We're gonna go back and start up later on today. I'm protecting the streak at all costs.
That's awesome. But Mike, thank
Mike, you have a great day. I appreciate you, buddy.
So you enjoy, and I hope you'll get your shoulder back and stuff like that, and I hope you have a nice, great day.
Thank you, Mike. Good deal. What a nice guy. Mike, I appreciate.
We got some great callers today. It's awesome.
We always do. I appreciate all of them, man. Let's bring on Derek.
Hey, Derek.
Wait, before we get Derek, 1 second, Derek. Just let me do a shout out on YouTube, a super chat. John Stevenson says, "Rest in peace and my condolences to his family for Germaine Robinson for dirty money there." Thank you, John.
Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
All right, Derek, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ryback, Shawnee? How you guys doing?
Derek, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? How you been? Long time no speak.
Yeah, man, doing good. Hey, listen, so I just wanted to kind of give Ryback's opinion on the title situation that seems to be going on that I feel like in the wrestling industry. I almost feel like there's too many titles. And it almost feels like they're kind of just making up titles now just to kind of hand out. You know, I don't want to downplay any wrestler's talent and what they have to go through. But, you know, back in the day, if you won a title, say the WWF title, WWE title, it was a big deal. You know, you were amongst some of the greatest people to ever hold a title. You know, the Ric Flairs, the Hogans, all of them, right?
It waters it
would think
down.
An accomplishment that with it. Right. You wanted, there's a lineage to a title. At least that's the way I've always looked at it. I saw something the other day that TNA has a title I think it's called the New Digital Media title.
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? It's almost like
participation trophies for everyone sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wait, Derek, what is it called?
I think it's called the New Digital Media.
That's what it is.
It's a digital media title. Brian, one of my friends, Brian Myers, he held it. I believe that Ryder also held it. Cardona, at one point, they started that belt. It wasn't for obviously. I think it's kind of like the internet championship.
It is. That's exactly. It's a social media championship with a name.
Like a social media. Yeah.
Well, they should have just called it the social media championship because digital market. I'll be the first to say I think that's a dumb name.
It doesn't sound right.
We don't use nobody digital marketing. Like, what does marketing have to do with anything?
Digital media.
Or digital media, but like nobody. Hey, I'm going to go on digital media today. I've never heard one person say that.
I agree. They definitely should have.
It's called the social media championship, but even then, it's
the fact that Joe Hendry is not the social media champion is crazy because there's nobody else that dominates social media besides Cardona really than like actively wrestling than Hendry, right? Like he made it on the YouTube, not YouTube, on the iTunes #1 list for music.
Yeah, I like, so for that, and again, there are too many championships to get to the, it waters it down. But I'm also, though, of the thing, it is physical acting, they're props, but they do have the certain titles have a rich history of people that have held them. And then too, there's more TV product. Times have changed from back in the day. There's more people on the roster. There's more shows. They got to have bigger rosters. Right. So you want to be able to highlight and make more money off of more talent. It's always a business. All of this, at the end of the day, it's all made up. It's all made up. No matter what we want to believe, all the championships, and this isn't just wrestling, it's all sports. It's all just made up stuff humans have made up. When we die, none of this means anything. This wasn't, but it's it's entertainment, it's fun. We love it. It can bring out really good times and memories but certain championships have meaning based off of who's held them and whatnot. Social media championship. Hey, that could be very, very prominent in this day and age of if you put it on the right people who, like Joe Hendry, he's hot online, right? He has online buzz. Use that for people that get online buzz to who you put those titles on and let them care. So if it's done in the right, but you got to have, again, social media championship. And then you kind of, that championship starts getting a lineage and a history, and you got to put it on the right guys who get online buzz, who get hot online. And then you kind of carry that championship could then start getting a good legacy if you did it right. The problem is they create new championships for no damn meaning other than to create them and to put it on a guy who they just want to put a title on, but don't want to put the main title on or right. And then they don't carry it out. So if you create, again, the hardcore championship, and just say you create the hardcore championship in WWE, that should get carried down to the most hardcore guy on the roster for a period of time. And where that legacy then is the people that hold that title are the most badass hardcore. Yes. Credible. Yes. But guys that are dared, guys that have earned that title from how they act and how the risk that they take, right? With that,
like Mick Foley having a hardcore championship is perfect.
And not dropping it until there's another person that has earned that respect to get that. But the problem is, and again, you got to have lengthy title reigns to get so Mick Foley should have never, that title started getting hot potatoed right out of the gate. So then it loses all meaning because there's no meaning behind the people that have it anymore. With that. So that's again, and so when you create a new championship, and this is just basic, psychology applied, you have to be, what's the meaning of this championship? You got to know, it's like a character, what's the end goal? What do we want the legacy of this championship to be? And then
I agree for sure.
So I see workhorse title, right? Sorry. No, the IC title was always the workhorse title of guys on their way up. So if you keep that intact and don't let that title go, you give it to guys that are on their next way up to becoming champion. You keep the legacy of that title. Then when you start going away from that, the identity of the title gets lost, right?
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
what has happened. And it's not that there's too many titles, it's that too many titles don't have an identity, in my opinion.
Right, yeah.
100%. Remember, I have like a distinct memory for some reason of Crash Holly winning the hardcore.
Same.
He was right. He was a champ. He was the hardcore champion, and I feel like he did a great job with holding that belt.
He did.
He used to do crazy stuff and he was so tiny and athletic, but I used to like him better than Bob, to be honest.
that shows you like he did things to make himself memorable with the championship, like with it, and it fit.
True.
Like, but so and that's your lasting memory of it on that, where a lot of people don't. I think two people like Mick Foley and Crash Holly are probably, a lot of wrestling fans will come to mind for the hardcore title, because they did a good job with the title, as opposed to others where it got hot potato. They didn't have an opportunity to create their legacy with it and or to tell that story correctly. So that to me is something that is very important for a wrestling organization. It's like the championship, the heavyweight championship, right? That was part of the problem with Jinder Mahal. A lot of fans didn't feel that he should have won the title, right? Because they didn't feel that he had the identity of a main eventer, even though he did an amazing job. And I love Jinder, and I'm proud of him that he got to do that and carry that. And he did an amazing job, and it greatly, and he upped his stock doing it with it. And he really, really took himself serious, and he did it. But like in that championship, though, if you started just giving the WWE championship, if you started hot potatoing that thing and changing the title every couple months to guys that people didn't think deserved it, right? Like with that, the identity of that championship could get lost really quickly with that. And so, but they don't let that happen because that's their main title. You got to put that same energy into all titles, in my opinion. And if you don't, and you have to have somebody like essentially, and this is my opinion, it's like with wrestling characters and having creative that oversee, that you got to have enough creative that we're like, hey, so-and-so, you're in charge of these 5 talents and their careers of like, and communicating with them. And so we can keep things on track and connect the dots. I think you need to have people or like a team of people in charge of the championship's identity to keep, so that you can put the title on the right people for the right amount of time and not mess up the identity of championships long term, because they need to be they need to be protected. And when they're not, it's like, so again, this goes, let's use a UFC reference, the BMF title, right? That title was created, and I think UFC is doing a much better job than wrestling does at times with creating a new championship, where that championship has more meaning now than when it was created, because they've put like the guys that are legit considered the BMFers of their industry, right? And that Max Holloway, that fight with him and Justin Gaethje, that last one was unbelievable. That way they went out, and the way that fight finished, they literally just went down swinging, and Max knocked him out at the very end. Like, that meaning of that title has been elevated now because of the performance of Max, but you see, it's an identity, and that title, they're only putting guys in there that are considered BMFers, bad mother effers, right? For people.
The belt itself has the identity.
Yes.
And that gives credibility to the people that hold it because of the credibility of the belt.
But if you start putting people in there that people don't view that way now, and they also don't fight, say you put that title in somebody in a fight in there, and then they cower away the whole fight, and they're just trying to survive the 5 rounds, right? That is not somebody that has the identity of that belt. If you have that belt, you're going in there. You're not just trying to win by a unanimous decision or by a judge's scoring card. You're going in there to try to knock a mother effer out. And this is the best way for me to try to get people to understand pro wrestling needs those same identities in different ways that we just talked about for the championships that they create. And if they don't do that, then that title will never mean anything.
Yep.
And that's what I think you're experiencing with everything, with how you feel. But yeah,
Derek, thanks for answering.
Thank you, Derek.
The question, brother. We always appreciate you listening, man.
But we're gonna do one more call here, and we got Mike. I think, is it Mike, our wrestling informant that
Mike popped in?
Mike, I haven't seen Mike in a minute. We'll get Mike on here, and this will be our last call of the day here, guys.
Hey guys, how's everybody going?
Mike, good to hear from you. How have you been?
Not too bad. Hey Sean, hey Ryback. So first I gotta ask you, your predictions for McGregor and Chandler. I want Chandler to win, but Chandler never fights to win, and God bless him, he wants to give the fans everything. If he uses his wrestling, like I'm watching right now, an old fight with Chad Mendes and McGregor. Yeah. McGregor, even as a featherweight, could not really defend takedowns. And it's like,
he's never been good with the takedowns.
Right. Yes. And it's like, Chandler, I'm terrified Chandler's going to get smoked by a left hand like 30 seconds in, and I'm going to throw my head in my hands. But what do you guys think real quick about how that fight's going to go?
So one, I hope it goes down, and I hope nothing gets canceled. Like the mic got delayed till November 15th, but so I hope this goes down. I'm going to be buying this one, and it's like I want to see Conor have the amazing comeback and the victory, because I think it can set him up for. I honestly think it could possibly, depending on his showing, if he has a really good showing, I don't put it past Dana White and the UFC to give him a championship matchup with Islam, because Islam's taken out a lot of the other competition. Like he's beaten pretty much a lot of the other division. So like I'm part of me, like, just from that story, but Chandler has fought the best, and he can hang with any of them. Even when he goes out and just starts swinging, man,
he's incredible. He's incredible.
His strength and his conditioning, his power, and like what he did to Tony Ferguson. Like,
that was the most violent thing I've ever seen in my life. I was stunned.
So what you said, I wouldn't be shocked if Conor was able to catch him on something of him coming in. I also won't be shocked if Chandler just goes out there and absolutely wipes the floor with him. Like I
hope he does. See, you and I and that's why this is great, because there's so much emotional investment with these two fighters, because every time you see Chandler fight, you're paying $80 for one. If Chandler's on the card, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Because he gives the fans everything, but he's doing it at his own expense because he's a great wrestler.
He is.
If he puts Conor on his ass, that's going to a decision. I'm telling you, if Chandler wants to win, he's going to put him down. But the other thing I wanted to ask you, because I'm real curious what you think about this. I think Becky and Seth really screwed themselves horribly by not negotiating as a pair, because Seth signed his deal first. And my thought process is, okay, they thought that they'd do right by Becky, even if Seth was comfortable at that point putting his pen to paper. And this is what, again, everyone has different priorities. Everyone looks at things differently. I get that. She seems to look at AEW as like a step down. But if you're being paid, let's say $4 million to work once a week, and you're not going to wrestle half the time, half the other time you'll talk. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's $4 million. And I wanted your opinion on that. Do you think those two made a huge error not negotiating as a couple?
I don't know, 1, 2, and here's the other thing people got to realize. Everybody has different experiences with WWE, even with like the hardships, and like I've seen Seth struggle with booking at times, like all of us do, and we all have our issues, and everybody's aware of how the company really is. But they also, though, they've given that, those two have a much different experience than like what I had. They were given like great opportunity after great opportunity, and so they're not going to be as resentful towards the company as someone like me, right? That with the different issues, because we all have, like, it's just common sense of reasoning. We've had different experiences there with things, and like with that. Also with Vince being gone, and then with Hunter and the different people, I can see them, Vince, and like we talked about, like with Randy, how he wouldn't let him with his injuries and wanted him full time. I feel like Hunter and them are more reasonable of letting people have time off and not forcing them to sign a contract right away if people want time off or something. And maybe I think that there's maybe more wiggle room on that end. But everything as far as Becky goes in AEW and Seth, I look at it I think the momentum, I think just from a year ago, the energy is starting to change, where the perception and the momentum that they had, it's not quite the same. And like in things, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with the TV deal. And we've seen like Sasha go there, and like we're seeing some things play out where it's not really, things aren't really changing, right? So, and like it could be more of, and it depends on what a person's preferences are. I think if you compare the two companies, and I want AEW to be as successful as anybody.
You're just being honest, yeah.
I just think there's so much more exposure and mainstream attention on WWE at the moment, and that like the money, and again, the merchandise aspect. even though and this is what I told people that tried to call me out and say I wasn't for a multi-million-dollar deal on the 1.65 that I walked away from the years ago. It was a multi-million-dollar deal because of pay-per-views, royalties, and merchandise, which we're going to wait. It would have been a $4 to $8 million deal, like with that. Or that's where the money comes in on the merchandise, even though the downsides in the business have gone up drastically now. That's a huge plus in case you get injured and or if they stop making, you're going to make a minimum every week on that downside. That's why that's important. But when you're figured in and working there as they are, their real money comes from the endorsements and the merchandise and the royalties and the action figures, right? With that. So I think that end of things is way higher in WWE than AEW. And I don't know that for a fact because I'm not there. And that's not to say that certain people don't do well there. I just think in the WWE, there's a higher upside on the merchandising side of things, if that makes sense. That even if they're making way more money there probably overall than they would even if they went to a better downside, that their potential of what they could make and the opportunities are greater in WWE, and maybe they're not willing to walk away from that. You know what I mean? That is how I'm starting to feel that with some people that are staying, and like Drew, like with that, I think that they saw some things. They're more privy to seeing things play out that I can see, but maybe a lot of other people can't see at times. That they're like, hey, this is where the money's actually better here and the exposure. And so we don't know. There's maybe a little uncertainty about the environment or what's going on, where they go, we're just going to stay here because we know what we have here. And so,
I was going to tell you too about the Drew thing, and I was convinced. I was convinced he was leaving, and it looked like he was because they started canceling future merchandise construction on certain.
And I'm going to say, Mike, you weren't. So here too, I'm going to just to your credit, you probably weren't wrong, but Drew was probably working everybody and working the WWE to get more money from the WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's very smart. So you weren't wrong on what you were seeing. It was just that Drew is a very smart, intelligent businessman and played both sides of the fence to create that doubt. So WWE, and again, having The Rock be involved in the contract.
Yes. Yep.
He played that perfectly.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, and that's what you want to see. And I was going to mention to you, and I'm not going to keep you. Have you heard about the situation with Natalya, Chad Gable, and Ricochet?
Their contracts are coming up, correct?
Yeah. So Natalya, I would think she'd ask Edge. I think they're pretty close. Yep. I think she would ask Edge about his experience here because, and again, I don't always. I have a pretty good idea sometimes who's talking to who. It sounds like Natalya basically said about AEW that she'd like to be in the Owen tournament. And look, I love Natalya to death. They're not going to get into a bidding war for Natalya. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's kind of awkward at this point because they probably like her to be more of a coach type person for the company. So I think she's going to go. Ricochet is like another Andrade. Like Ricochet's very talented, but I think he's going to be basically in the same spot no matter where he is. But he might fit better in the AEW environment where it's more wrestling-based entertainment. So who knows? But Chad Gable to me, now I've been saying for years, and I understand why they gave the opportunity to Jason Jordan. They saw a higher ceiling. I get it. If he was positioned as Kurt Angle's son years ago with that storyline, he would have been a main eventer for the company almost immediately. Has everything. And it looks like, and I don't know this, but it looks like he signed a short extension through next weekend because the WWE has no problem telling people that they signed their talent. They want to be able to put that out there. The fact that they're not outright saying he signed a new deal overall, FTR are pushing to get him in AEW. Yeah. Because I don't know if you remember the American Alpha and FTR matches years ago, which were just fantastic. But again, going back to what you're saying about Drew, this is the best thing for you guys that has happened in 19 years. Yeah. Everybody has options. Everyone has more money. Money
is so much higher than when I was there, even. Everybody should be. It is drastically. I heard just something. They said the lowest downside in WWE is like $350,000 now. That was before the downside when I got into the business. A lot of the guys were on like 65, 70. They were main roster guys on like $75,000 downsides.
Yeah, and I was going to say to you too, and again, I remember seeing Kevin Owens at a little Ring of Honor show in front of 200 people in Boston 10, 15 years ago. and I never would have imagined he would have been allowed on WWE property, let alone be assigned push talent. Yeah. But because AEW exists, I don't know if you remember this, Tony was going to bring Kevin Owens in, but he already signed Punk, Adam Cole, and Danielson.
Yeah.
And he, at the time, did not want to match Kevin Owens' offer of $3 million a year. If AEW doesn't exist, Kevin Owens is maybe making $750 to $1 million per year.
Yeah, if that. And people not like that. People don't even realize like that. If AEW doesn't exist, the money would never have changed in WWE.
Never, no way. They don't give a shit.
That's right. Why I tell people like even with the contract I got offered, that was a massive contract at that time of what they don't normally for most people. Like, and that wasn't even agreed. But people don't realize like that level of money, they will only come up for certain people. Now they're coming up for most people, like with that, because there's the whole other company that can take their people with that. But I just to think Natty, and I think she's has the most matches for a female. She's always been a sweetheart. And Tyson works there as a producer. I think and they have their wrestling school. I think she could. So nothing ever shocks me. I think she could be somebody that would forever, if she wanted to be an agent in WWE, they would let her. For the females, I think that because of all her experience with that, I also wouldn't be shocked if they just let her go if she still wanted to wrestle and they wanted her to maybe be more of a producer agent. With that, I could see her going to AEW just to be affiliated with the Owen Hart Cup, just for the family, just because of the meaning. If AEW. If everything could be negotiated, that would not shock me to see that move happen. Even though I see her just staying in WWE. As far as Ricochet, again, I think with him when his character and when he first came onto the scene in WWE, it had this superhero vibe to it that I just thought that they lost along the way. And then he got back to a little bit, but they've never really the character development. They've never invested the time into his character with that, where his style, he may be better off in AEW where the storylines aren't, since he's not the focal point in them anyways in WWE, let his just actions be he could fit in very well in that environment. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that move happen with how his WWE run is gone. Great guy, by the way. I've met him multiple times. Great guy. With that, so whatever it could be beneficial for him, I would like to see happen in his happiness. And then Gable, obviously, I think his personality is so strong in that he's proven that he could play any role. And again, the size thing, but he has that demeanor and that no fear in his eyes. Right. He has that it factor that, and he seems to be well liked and behind the scenes. And I could see him. He's very knowledgeable on the business as well, and he's adapted to it really great. I can see him in WWE. I'd heard they've made a good offer. I can see, I think that's a good call for him to stay with his personality. I think he's better utilized in WWE as far as from what he could probably make with his personality. Granted, is AEW going to put him in the main event and put the title on him? I don't know with that. And so I could see him staying in WWE, and with the long-term potential that he has to earn there, it probably would be a good move for him to stay.
Yeah, and I want to just tell you, I don't know if you've read about this, but the rumored rights fee for AEW might be in total $500 million. The problem seems to be about where they put their existing library. The natural would be HBO Max, but it sounds like reading between the lines, Tony doesn't feel like he's getting offered the best value for the library. So there might be something in the weeds with him and New Japan to team up for their own service where they put their combined content on there. So, but to what you said, yeah, look, and I'll just, and this, talking to me enough, I'm the biggest AEW fan you'll ever meet, but I truly think maybe 800,000 around there might be settling into where they are. And look, as long as Warner Media is comfortable with that, it's consistent programming, it's original programming every week. As long as they're comfortable with it, because the whole thing, I don't wear rose-colored glasses with anything. I wish I did at times, but I don't. And I kind of look at them as, look, you're never going to be what WWE is. They're too big. They have a global footprint. You're not, right? But
not overnight, and it's not. Again, they have to just focus on their business and being profitable and growing. And because if you look at this, as a long-term investment of that, hey, we exist, pro wrestling's better with us.
Right.
And that they are an operable business, and the goal is to become as profitable as possible as well, and be able to continue to make the pro wrestling business better. If that is truly his drive and motivation, I don't see that ever stopping, and hopefully they continue to do that. But like again, you're going to be compared. It is WWE than AEW. But from a wrestler standpoint, you can make just as much money in that organization or close to it, which is, from a wrestler standpoint, a beautiful thing. But there are distinct differences between the two promotions early on still, that is going to, no company is just going to come in right away. A lot of things, the way things have gone, it's going to be a much longer term process on that, looking at how things have gone.
Yeah. And again, it's all about, I mean, what Tony's been tweeting lately, it sounds like they're at the 1 yard line if something isn't already secretly done. He's been he's been very happy on here lately, which tends to lead to something big coming. But I want to ask you one more thing, then I'll let you go. Did you ever hear years ago, it's been an internet rumor, maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, I really want to get your opinion, when Samoa Joe accidentally broke TJ Hart's neck with the muscle buster?
Yep.
The rumor was that WWE did not pay for the ambulance to the hospital. That's been out there for a long time. Have you ever heard that?
Okay, so I don't know details. I was there for this. I was when I was Tyson. I saw it when they in the back. It was scary, man. There were there were significant issues between Tyson Kidd and WWE. They messed up a lot with him, a lot. And Tyson knew I had my ankle injury, which were connected. He was the one that drop kicked me when I broke my ankle. So me and him, and he saw me finish the match, and I got the pin on him. He always saw what happened, and like they didn't stop the match, and he knows like my story. And we had talked at multiple points after all his stuff, a lot. And I don't remember the details because this has been a long time ago. That when it shocked me that did happen, because there were some really, really messed up things that happened. They treated him very badly, so badly that he was going to sue the company, and the company got scared and had Vince call him and apologize. So that, and I know that happened for a fact. So that will let you know, this is after Vince not talking to him, but he was going to get sued, and his case was an open and shut case with what they had. So WWE had Vince call him and apologize way later, way at the, like with this, as this, Tyson wasn't talking to them. And I remember I saw him at Pat Buck's wedding, and we talked more about this, and this was after the everything. They eventually agreed to offer him a substantial amount of money to come back as a producer and bury the hatchet, and Vince apologized for everything, and they fixed all the problems with him because they were going to get sued. So that was probably one of the things of many that went wrong in all of that. On top of him putting him in a impromptu match with no warm-up last second, there was some real legal issues with what they did to him that cost him his career with that. And I remember there was a podcast of me saying F you to McMahon and Kevin Dunn in WWE for him early on the Ryback show. I think it was when I was still conversation with the big guy, that I remember a lot of people gave me a lot of shit for speaking up for Tyson Kidd with him, but I knew enough of what happened that they really effed him over. And that's probably part of it.
Yeah. And again, as always, thank you very much for sharing that. I've never heard that much detail on it. And I think pretty much what you said there, the dots can be easily connected. I think it was, I forget who it was in the family. I might have been Bruce Hart that said this a couple years ago about the ambulance. I think it was.
He's not lying. That's probably been that. There was so many things that went wrong with all of this, and they treated him like absolute shit. They've treated, and Natty too, they've never treated them well. They've never given them the respect. Like, and I don't know if it's a Brett thing. I don't know what it is like with it, but he got the raw end of a deal on that until, and it's me and him, I remember telling him, because he knew all the issues that I was having. And I think, and we had a talk, and we had a pretty good talk during that whole thing when I saw him at Pat Buck's wedding. And I think that like and I remember he told me, and I don't remember the exact words, but he knew that the amount of money and the stress that it would cause to take them to court, even though he knew he was going to win, I think he just settled for peace. and that when Vince called him and apologized, he just chose to accept the good in the situation, even though it was Vince clearly manipulating him not to sue him. He just chose not to fight and take on Vince, and they compensated him accordingly and then gave him a full-time job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think something came out to the effect of the lawyers recommended Vince give him a job to prevent a lawsuit. So that all adds.
And that was my experience of what I knew from what he told me. So.
Yeah, I just want to ask you one more thing, and I promise I'll let you go after that. Thank you for all your time, as always. You're so generous to everybody. Did you hear about the this thing called Fast Nationals that WWE leaks preliminary ratings on AEW's programming? Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So they have a collision show on Saturdays now, and so WWE will leak an unflattering number that isn't the full totality of the actual rating. Yeah. Just as a perception battle, right? Yep. So last week, and there's this incel named, I call him Alfie the Incel. He's this hideous guy. I mean, he's just such a loser. But anyway, so he gets numbers from WWE PR, and he said last week's collision rating was 122,000. And the actual rating was 388,000. And so Tony has posted about this. I'm sure you've seen at times. He posted recently. This is just the same stuff that Jim Crockett Promotions dealt with, and it is. And the WWE only fan, because I call them WWE only. I'm a wrestling fan. I watch all wrestling. I love wrestling. I don't do this thing where I'm like, I'm not going to watch this other stuff, as you know. But anyway, they don't want to believe that WWE engages in these practices yet. What I'm about to say is not speculation. It's 100% public confirmed, nailed to the wall. They had to settle with MLW, a literal an insect, for $20 million because Stephanie was caught on a voicemail telling a Fox executive, do not give them a slot on Tubi or whatever it was, right? And I don't understand.
This is what they do, though, Mike, and this is what I tell, but this is what they did with me. They leaked out the misinformation. And what they do is they try to cause you stress and drama in your life. And at the very least, they create doubt in their hardcore faithful. And then that's why Tony, what they do is they make his life more difficult because now he has to take time over this stupid, petty stuff that doesn't exist and fight these things because these people are coming at him. And that's what I've dealt with through my story and my situation. And that's why I have like zero tolerance because I know the truth. But they do these petty little things to make your life more problematic and drama filled for no reason. And that's what but this is what they do. This is who they are at their core with that. And it's what it is what it is. It sucks. But they will do that to try to change the perception. It's like me when I walked out, they instantly leaked out that I got sent home with that. Never happened. I literally told them goodbye, and they said, we want to go see Vincent. I said, I never want to see him ever again. Tell him to F off. Like, how are you going to – but I didn't even know that was like – because I was so clueless about how certain things worked with them and online. And I was just unaware of certain things. And then I realized really quickly, I was like, oh, these people are bad. They will try to make your life and try to make people – they're faithful, believe a certain thing. And then what they do is now people are out there arguing that how bad AEW is, right? And like in that, we know that a lot of people don't have common sense and reasoning to go, oh, hey, this could be wrong or this isn't like. So that's where we're at, but that's what they do.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll let you go, and a nice talk here as always, Sean, as well. But I hope we see our good dear friend Mark Furlife. I heard he was back in the Vegas area. I know he made some sporadic appearances. We need it to be more consistent because he's a bright light.
He's prepping for WrestleMania 41 as we speak.
He's gonna watch some All Japan. I heard he's gonna bust out All Japan.
Mike, what would you do if Mark for Life was able to score a front row ticket for WrestleMania 41? Be on hard cam the entire show.
You should, and I'm sure you've thought about, because I love the last fight thing you're doing now. It's great. No, I'm sure you've thought about all this stuff, but why not do that? Why not? Because it's fun. Look at what Enzo did. They can't throw.
Yeah, no, but the reason why I don't is I just don't want to be affiliated because I'm not clear to wrestle. If my shoulder was fine and I was truly trying to create buzz for myself, my mindset would be I know I can't wrestle right now. So if that comes around and my shoulder's healthy, then hopefully it is. My mindset's going to be a lot different. I don't want to go. What am I going to create the buzz for? And I'm not paying it off.
It would be a waste, exactly.
And so I'm saving my appearance for when I know I can come back. That's
Mark Furlife sitting in the front row on hard cam throwing Funyuns on himself all over his head. It writes itself.
Eating peanuts, drinking beer, the whole WrestleMania, just getting a little worse every match.
Yeah.
Writing old school signs.
I was going to say the signs have to come out for sure.
I show up with 20 just white blank cardboard posters with the markers and just drawing new signs every match.
I was going to tell you too, Ryback. There's a decent UFC fight night on tonight too. Dominic Reyes is fighting. So
okay, I'm going to check. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll let you guys go. Have a great weekend.
Later, Mike.
All right, Mike. Good to hear from you as always. You have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Good deal, man. I always love hearing from Mike.
I don't talk much when Mike's on because there's
no room
for me to interject. Yes.
Between me and Mike, there's no room for Shawnee.
I just want everybody, you to know, most importantly, I'm not ignoring you guys. I just don't think that I can add anything of value. So I just stay quiet.
No, thank you. That's actually that's good because Mike, I always appreciate. We don't get him on every week, so I like to. He has other news that we don't touch on, so I always appreciate him calling in.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think that like I'm just like ignoring you guys.
Oh, I thought there was just massive heat between you and Mike for it's building slowly here.
No, absolutely not. I just think it's. I feel like I listen to a great podcast like Rogan and I love when people let others talk.
Yeah.
Because it first of all, like you can learn so much from listening, right? So like I don't watch UFC like you guys do, big guy. To be honest, I don't like watching people fight. When they break bones and stuff, I can't even watch it.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's so intense, and
I watched the guy get his arm broken last week. I watched it. Submission to the guy. I'm telling the guy tap. He wouldn't tap, and the guy snapped his arm.
I know, bro. I saw the clip on X by accident, the guy, and I almost threw up.
You wouldn't. Yeah, I get it, man. Even me, I'm like, oh man, here we go. But it's like, I gotta watch.
I know, I just can't. But thanks for having me on, big guy. I
Always.
appreciate you. Everybody watch TikTok Live. Big guy's going to be battling. He has a 20 streak, so anybody who could come and make it, we would appreciate it. And you can follow me on TikTok at Shawnee Caulfield. And that's it. So I feel like today was one of the best shows yet, big guy.
Every week. I enjoy this every week, man. Hopefully we keep getting more people in here. And the show, we thrive on the calls coming in. And I love when Mike calls in, and I appreciate all of you guys that called in today. Thank you very much. And thank you, Shawnee, man. Always a pleasure.
Have a great day, guys.
You too, buddy. Take care. Good deal, Shawnee, guys. Always a good time on here. I appreciate you guys very much. We do have one more super chat I will get to wrap up. Hey, Muzdog, what's up, brother? He goes to Sweet Sugar who still come on here. I every once in a blue moon, I'll see something from him. He's not on as much as what he was, and I don't know where he is, but I'll occasionally see like a tweet or occasionally see a comment from him. But I hope he's doing well. He's always been very nice with that. But guys, we're gonna wrap up this week's show. I am gonna be live on TikTok at Ryback here, guys, a little bit later. Here, I don't know what time exactly we're gonna get started. I'm gonna take a little break here. I'm on the very end of Zelda 2 on my big arcade. I'm at the final castle. Which you don't have to. Once you get to the castle, that you fight the last boss and the Shadow Link, you restart from there. You don't have to trek all the way back, and I didn't know that. So I'm at the very end. The problem was I was going to beat the game last night, and I had a Thunder that I got in this town, and it didn't save in my inventory, and I needed Thunder to beat the final boss. So I've got to go back and go grab that Thunder, and I did that last night. I got to just go back today. I got to trek back to the castle, which is not a problem. So I'm going to finish my story. I couldn't beat Zelda 2 at 7 or 8 years old, but at 42, damn it, I'm going to finish my story. It's never too late for you to finish your story with Phantom Arcades, guys. Go check out my IG. They're Phantom Arcades on IG and TikTok. They did an amazing job on this thing. Over 10,000 games. They could customize it however you want. I think their prices are somewhere in the vicinity of $2,500 and up, depending on the specifications and what you want on your custom arcade. But man, they kick ass. And I think my model might be in like the $4,500 range with that. But you can get pricing from them Phantom Arcades on IG and TikTok. Big shout out to them. They did an absolutely amazing job on that arcade. So thank you, brother, for that. And Feed Me More Nutrition, guys. Feedmemore.com for the best supplements on the planet. Save 20% discount code YouTube20 or TikTok 20 over on TikTok, guys. We use stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners and colors. 13 different supplements for men and women, guys. All the Ryback merch, drinkware, workout accessories, ball caps, guys, and the best supplements on the planet. Feedmemore.com, #hungry. Guys, have a great weekend. I appreciate you guys every week joining me on here, 9 a.m. Pacific time, live each and every Saturday, guys. Have a great weekend. And until next time, Rybackers, stay hungry. And that's the last bite. Feed me more.